John already brought it up. Sopra, first chart. What's going on here?
Yeah, last week, we were looking at this bounce. When you look at this little blue circle, shaded circle that I put in there, that's where we were at last week. And so we were looking for, do we start to get continuation to the upside in the ratio? And we have, in fact, as you see on the right hand side of the chart. So this kind of resembles, if you look back to like September of last year, we had this 20 plus percent correction, and then we came back down, retested that one threshold, and then started moving up from there. So want to see that ideally, but at a minimum, you want to see that one threshold hold, obviously, and maybe stabilize above one. But yeah, I mean, ideally we continue higher. What you don't want to see, obviously, is for us to go below and then retest it, and it becomes resistance. But for now, looking really good.
Awesome. Exchange supply shock ratio. Maybe not as bullish as it's been, but still not bearish either, is my read.
Yeah, so we have three different things here. The one that's slightly bearish is the highly liquid ratio. So this is looking at the movement of coins from the highly liquid entities to liquid entities. So the ratio ticking down just means coins are moving to the highly liquid entities. I think you're starting to get some of this reflecting in price. I'm actually kind of short-term. I wouldn't say like short-term bearish, but I'm a little cautious over the next 2 days. I think we probably come down and like retest like 53K, partially because of this. Also, exchange flows are just flat over the last 2 weeks. They're down like 490 BTC, which of course like isn't bearish to say. It's just not strongly bullish. So it's just neutral. And then like when you look at the derivatives funding. So you look at the perpetual swap funding, we've had a really big spike over the last like 24 hours. And so to me, what that shows is like traders are basically trying to leverage long the dip. And then oftentimes, like when you see funding go in the opposite direction of price, it usually resolves in the direction of price. So like one example would be when we came off that failed breakdown of 30K. I remember we did one of these, and I was saying that we were set up for favorable conditions for a short squeeze. And the reason was it was the same kind of setup, but the opposite. So you had funding going more negative as price was going up, and open interest relative to market cap was going up. So in other words, you had people piling on shorts as price was going the opposite direction. And that resolves, of course, we had this massive, I remember at the time it was a huge move, to like mid or upper 40Ks off those lows. So I don't think we're going to have a move of that magnitude, but I'm just saying it's when you start to see, that's just a good example of when you start to see funding go in the opposite direction of price, especially as open interest is increasing as a proportion to market cap. You're susceptible to these moves that oftentimes resolve in the direction of price. So I think you have some late shorts that hopped in. And over the last 24 hours, I mean, you look at like some of the APRs on funding, like I'll pull it up right here. We're looking at like on some exchanges up to like 67% APR, like on Bybit, for example, which oftentimes Bybit's wrong. While at the same time, FTX is much lower at like 20%, and Deribit's at 38%. So like overall, the funding is seen a big spike over the last 24 hours. So I don't know. I'm kind of short-term cautious. Obviously, like long-term picture hasn't changed at all, but just to, for hodlers, like who cares, right? But I'm just saying, just be wary if we start to trend down over the next couple of days, come back down and retest that 53K area. And even as low as that retesting the break above the point of breakdown from May at 50K, I don't think that's out of the cards, but I think like that 53K is probably a logical area. That's also like the $1 trillion market cap area too. So I just think there's a couple of different things in confluence that kind of point to that being a nice little area to maybe scoop up some BTC over the next couple of days. But yeah.